Hey everyone, have you ever wondered if the 5am Club is for you? Well, join me because in this video I'll run through my top 3 learnings from doing the 5am Club for 340 days, so you can decide if it's for you. So let's get into it. So learning number 1 is that because there are no distractions in the morning, you can be insanely productive. So in Robin Sharma's book, The 5am Club, he talks about the 20-20-20 formula, and that's basically 20 minutes of exercise, followed by 20 minutes of meditation/journaling, then 20 minutes of learning or growth. I've also added, just before this, a 4:50 a.m. ice bath to kind of kick off that kind of habit stack, as James Clear would say. And what you find is that because there's literally no distractions at that time of day, you can just rattle through these activities without any distractions, no delays, no procrastination. You literally just go through it. And the reason why I like adding the ice bath at the start is because you're supposed to do ice baths early in the morning anyway, because it gives you a bit of an adrenaline boost, it wakes you up, and you're supposed to do it prior to exercise as well, because it can lead to muscle atrophy if you do it afterwards. But probably one of the best reasons to kind of start this habit stack with the ice bath is that you go from like the hardest thing, which wakes you up, through to the easiest thing, which is for me just reading and learning. So yeah, hardest thing, ice bath, then exercise, next hardest thing, which doesn't actually feel as hard as the ice bath, and you kind of want to warm up anyway. Then the meditation, journaling. Lots of people say they struggle to fit in meditation into their daily routine, but if you just get it done first thing in the morning, then that makes it super easy. And then obviously the learning and growing part at the end can spill over into the rest of the day if you don't have any other distractions. By nailing all that in the morning and doing just 20 minutes of each one each day, the compounding benefits of that are just insane. You can be insanely productive. Another reason why I like this is because it's essentially a habit stack, and James Clear talks about habit stacks in his book Atomic Habits. But basically, if you want to get a lot of stuff done, then you can create stacks. So after I get out the ice bath, I work out. After I work out, I go and meditate. After I meditate, I read. And by creating those associations, your body just gets, or your mind starts creating it into a full kind of habit, and you just move from one thing to the next without even thinking. So it becomes very, very easy. And Robin Sharma talks about it taking, I think, 66 days to install a habit. So the first 22 days is pain. The next 22 days is kind of like a messy kind of installation time, and then the last 22 days is where you're just nailing it. I've been doing it for 340 days now, and it's literally automatic, so I don't even have to think. I just rattle through it. The benefits are amazing. It feels weird not doing it now. So you can be insanely productive, and I'd say by 6 a.m. you've done all that. The rest of the day can go terribly and you've still had an amazing day. So my learning number 2 is that going to bed on time is the key to making this sustainable. And it's kind of counterintuitive because you think, oh, it's all about the morning routine. You need 7.5 hours at least of sleep a night. Everyone knows that. Matt Walker in Why We Sleep talks about how you need your sleep to function. So in order to get out that early and make sure you get enough sleep, you have to basically go to bed early. So I'm talking like 9 p.m. You need to be getting into bed, which actually means that you probably need to be thinking about going to bed at 8 p.m, which is kind of weird. And it took me a while to get that, because if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to be able to wake up at 4:45, 5 a.m. consistently. So you're not going to be able to do this regularly. So for me, what that means is you kind of have to tear yourself away from whatever you're doing at 8 p.m. and begin the kind of pre-bed faff, which for me is getting ready for work, it's tidying up, it's doing the washing up. You know, if I'm out, it's leaving friends and family and making sure that I'm home on time. All that is extremely difficult, but it's kind of key to making this essential. So the thing I think about is I should be as disciplined about that 8 p.m. wind down / 9 p.m. in bed as I need to be about my 5 a.m. wake up, which is kind of an interesting kind of mindset to get in. So your alarm goes off, you know, you think I have to get up, but you should also see 8 p.m. as I have to start getting ready for bed. You're not really getting anything for free here. It's a trade-off, and you need to get used to that. And then my learning number 3 is that you're basically trading your evening time for your morning time, and that's something you need to take into account. So for me, that's kind of objectively great. I've always loved mornings. I've always got up at 6 a.m, so moving to 5 a.m. was a tiny jump for me, to be honest. But what was difficult was managing that with my partner. So it meant forgoing those kind of morning lions, you know, coffees in bed, and it meant that I had to essentially start going to bed earlier as well. So it meant that I was losing some of my evening time. I knew overall this was actually a really good thing for me, because in the morning I have huge amounts of willpower, loads of energy. So that time in the morning that I'm borrowing from the evening is actually going to be way more productive, because in the evening, instead of going to bed, I would just be like watching TV, scrolling on Instagram, doing stuff that's not that helpful, because my willpower would be super low. And so what I'm doing is I'm trading some low willpower, low productivity time in the evening for some high willpower, high productivity time in the morning. And overall, if you're looking to progress, succeed, be happy, I think that's a great trade to make. But it fits with me quite well now in my lifestyle because I've got a young son who wakes up at 6 a.m. and goes to bed at 7, 8 p.m. I don't really have much of a social life anymore, but if I was looking at doing this when I was in my 20s, I'd find it really difficult to basically bin my evening social life or hang out with friends, family in the evening, late night dinners, whatever, restaurants. That would be really tough for me. So that would be an even bigger sacrifice to make for your growth. But yeah, for me, at this point in my life, it makes total sense. I've also seen a lot of Alex Hormozy's stuff on, having a morning routine and saying that you shouldn't do it and you should just get up and work. I think that's probably why he's a multi-millionaire, because he thinks like that. But this 5 a.m. club is much more orientated around having a kind of balanced and rewarding life. So you wake up and you work out because you want to be healthy, and it's a deposit into your long-term health account. You're training for longevity here. You meditate and journal for your own spirituality and happiness. You don't really do it to kind of increase performance. And then you grow because you want to learn, you want to be the best in your field. So take that time to kind of invest in your own knowledge. I could get up and start cranking out work at 5 a.m. And maybe if I got to the point where I was working on something like a book, that's definitely what I would do. But for me at this point, it's mainly around having some me time, because once my son's up at 6 a.m., I'm basically on go mode until I go to bed. So for me, as someone who enjoys my time alone, that hour in the morning is kind of all I really have. And so it's very precious to me. I think if you're pursuing a very kind of focused goal, then you might want to just get up and kind of nail that. Overall, the benefits for me far outweigh the sacrifices at this point in my life. I absolutely love waking up at 5 a.m. and I do it whenever I can. I love how efficient it is about doing the things I want to do, and it enables me to fit some personal care and some me time in with my hugely busy work and family life. So for me at this point in time, it works extremely well. Would I do it if I was in my 20s still? I'd like to think I would. And I think I would probably be doing better in life if I had done this and spent less time out partying in central London. Things hit you at the right point in your life. So yeah, they were my top 3 learnings from doing the 5 a.m. club for 340 days. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to hear more from me, don't forget to check out this one here. Thanks.